And that is a sword.
All right, we'll start with questions. Tom, you want to get us going?
I don't have anything. I mean, I got a lot of them. Opening questions, pressure. I will ask you about your running back situation. Is this the trend in college football to go with several guys, and how does it play for you guys?
You know, I don't know that. I know I believe in this league. It's such a big league, a physical league that you're probably not going to. A lot of teams don't have a feature back. They do it kind of by committee. Obviously, if you have one that's that much better than somebody else, you're going to get him, 8 to 10 carries more a game than the next guy. But kind of where we feel like we're at is that we have 3 guys that, 4 when Dominique gets back, that we feel like we can have success with. Obviously, you have a depth chart for a reason, with Rocket being number 1 on that. But we just try to keep him fresh and but if Rocket's fresh, he's going to get the majority of the carries.
And following up on that, what's the latest on Dominique? When do you expect him back? And B, do you recruit to that? Like, hey, we're going to have a running back by committee thing, and you're not going to have as much wear and tear on your body.
Yeah, I think anytime that you have the situation that we have, where we're playing several, you have to find in recruiting the positive about that. And certainly ours is that, if you're good enough and to help us win and get drafted and things of that nature, that the wear and tear on your body wouldn't be quite as significant if you're carrying the ball 25 times a game. To answer that, you asked me something else. Dominique, and we had to talk about that this morning in our staff meeting with Dave. I feel like he'll be able to do some things, maybe not the first week, as far as team-oriented type things, but he's progressing well. He's ahead of schedule. And so I don't know if we'll have him for the Cincinnati game or not, but I feel like we're going to have him majority of the season.
Coach, on the Millie Cornsby at wide receiver, if KJ's the quarterback, how much time do you see Millie playing wide receiver?
Well, I'll tell you this, we are formatting our practice so Malik can do both. In the past, we've gone 1s and freshmen, and then 2s and 3s on the opposite field.
Right.
But this year, we're going to go 1s and 2s, and that way we can keep Malik on that field so we can practice him at wide receiver. I'll just tell you this, I've told him that we need him on the field. Now, he has to earn the right to get on the field, but we need him on the field. I think he's an excellent football player. So we are going to obviously give him, there's a fine line, give him an opportunity to win the job, but at the same time, give him an opportunity to win the wide receiver spot too. So we've got a plan for it. I hope it works. We feel like it will.
If you do make him more of a wide receiver than a quarterback, is he still your backup quarterback, or does Fortin probably move into that?
What afforded us to do this in the first place was K. Fortin. I think we all have a lot of confidence in him, and so that kind of afforded us, and if you don't have a 3 that's ready, then you better not move your number 2 quarterback out to wide receiver. But with Fortin and how he came on this spring, we felt like we were able to do it. And as soon as, honestly, the first time Fortin took us down in a 2-minute situation, after that day is when we really started thinking about Malik playing wide receiver at that point.
Hey, Coach, just keeping along the injury line, I guess, how is Renfro, how's he progressing? Torian Carter, and anybody else expected to miss any time?
TC will be in camp. He'll be in camp, but that doesn't mean, Trey, that he's going to be active in camp. But we felt like it was important that he come into camp, be a part of the team, be a part of the meetings, be a part of practice. Not that he's going to be able to practice yet, but we felt like that was important. Renfro hadn't been cleared yet to practice, so he'll be in the training room, getting healthy and those things. Now he can throw, just can't do anything team oriented right now. I think he will be able to do that by, first, second game. I think he'll be able, and maybe some during this fall camp. But with that said, he's not gonna get here, he's not gonna be able to practice until the until school starts, unless, you know, we had some type of injury and then we could pull him off the waiver list, or however you wanna look at it.
And anybody else, Landon Jackson, Manny Powell, any of those guys gonna miss?
No, those are really the only guys, you've hit it, that would be, well, Ja'Cory Turner would be in the green, but he can practice. The rest of them, well, I think we're in good shape.
With Dax Courtney medically retiring, it's unfortunate, obviously.
Yeah.
Does that put you guys down to 83? I think last time we talked to you, you were 84.
83.
Okay. Any plans with those scholarships?
I don't know,
Retro,
you know,
active, or that stuff?
if you had a guy that was exceptional, that transferred after the portal transfer deadline, in other words, he could transfer, he could be on scholarship, but he couldn't play this year. If we found somebody like that, that could go through practice and then, you know, and all those things and be up in the spring, we might do that, but that would be really the only, answer to your question right now.
Sam, you were pretty optimistic about the D-line at media days. I guess just having
Yeah.
seen those guys this summer, what maybe shaped your outlook and maybe what excites you or concerns you about the group?
Well, I really don't have any concern. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, we've got to find a pass rusher out of that group, and pass rushers don't have to be edge guys. They can be rushing passer from inside as well. Trust me, I've had to block a lot of them in this league, you know. But you know, we went out and we were fortunate enough to get Landon Jackson. Dorian Gerald coming back would have somewhat of an answer there as well. You know, I think the guys we have in Zach and Stu and some of those guys on the edge, Eric Thomas had a better one. Jordan Dominique is a guy that we specifically went out to help us at that position, but to go rush the quarterback. So he wasn't here, you know, so that one, Jackson wasn't healthy, he is now. Dorian Gerald wasn't healthy, he is now. So we'll see if some of those guys can help us rush the passer. I feel like we can. On the inside, I've been really pleased with Terry Hampton. I think he's got good explosion. He's not very tall. He's got built-in leverage, you know, and certainly Taylor Lewis had a good summer too. But losing Torian for a while definitely hurt us. Isaiah Nichols took over the leadership role in that room. I think Deke Adams done a really good job of going out and recruiting, and so we'll see what we have. That's probably the most, even more so than wide receiver, in my opinion. That's probably the group where you go, okay, we need some things to happen. We think that we have the people for it to happen, but probably that's the biggest question mark possibly on the team. But I'm very confident about that group. I think we've done a nice job of developing the ones we have and throwing a few more out of the portal in there.
Sam, I think you said in Atlanta that Tykees Crawford had really, you know, performed well and deserved a chance to get on the field. Well, where do you see him starting off in camp, and you know, where would he be competing?
You know, Tykees is going to start off at tackle. I think Cody and I had a long conversation about him, and Dalton is a guy that's we want him to stay healthy every game, but I don't know that he can play every single rep of every game. You know, I don't know. He's got some issues, you know, some physical issues, injury-wise, and so we're gonna solidify that right tackle spot first. We're also going to move him in at right guard. I just think the guy's a really good player, and I think he needs to help us. And so we're going to keep him on the right side right now, right tackle, right guard. See if he can't win one of those spots. If he doesn't, he's going to play a lot of ball for us. Either way, we talked about left tackle as well. But I think the best thing for him for playing time is to keep him on that right side and let him learn two positions.
And you know, before the portal came into being, you know, it was almost unheard of for guys to transfer within the conference because the coaches would understand with black, you don't wanna play against. Now you look at SEC rosters and you lose guys to SEC teams, you get guys from SEC teams, it's all over the place. Just wonder what you think about that.
Well, it's hard to say anything negative about it whenever we're doing it too. You know what I mean? When we're going and getting players from LSU and Georgia and Alabama, you know, what it is. I think originally in the portal, I thought it was for kids that were over recruited. In other words, they'd come to Arkansas, mistakes not the word, but we over recruited them. They can't play here. Allow them to be able to move without punishment to a MAC school or, to somewhere else. And I know MAC plays really good ball too. I don't mean that negative either. But really what's come down to now is a lot of it is I'm not playing as much as I want to. I see somewhere else that I can go to and play right away. Some of it has to do with NIL money. You know, it's managing your roster right now is the hardest thing to do in my opinion as a head coach in college football right now. It's hard, but I think if we're going to transfer within, I think you have to transfer within the conference if you're going to have the transfer rule, because most of the time the players that we're looking for are in this league, and so I guess I'm for the rule that we're not separate than anybody else, I guess.
Coach, I think Gregory worked exclusively at end in the spring, but with getting Gerald back after the spring, does that, I mean, he's 6'4", 305 or so, does that give you the option of working inside maybe some?
Yeah, Eric's got a lot of value for us because he certainly can play in when we're in our 3-down line. He certainly, when we're in the 4-down configuration, he certainly could play inside as well. So he's got a lot of value there, but it's just because he's worked so hard and he's strong, he can run. So I do think there'll be some definite experimentation with him inside and outside.
You mentioned in a recent interview, you named off, I think, 6 wide receivers that probably the top guys right now, but there's Landers was one of the guys you mentioned, who's a newer addition. I was wondering if you could tell us what you thought about him, and then also a couple other guys, freshmen, Isaiah Satega and Samuel Bakke.
Mm-hmm. And we got Quincy as well, but I know you didn't mention him because he was here in the spring. Isaiah has very good ball skills, can separate. He's exactly what we thought he would be. Bakke is a big, long, physical guy, can run. We like him as well. We think we hit on all 3 of those guys there. Who else did you ask about? I'm sorry.
Just Landers, like what kind of
impact? Matt is a guy, I knew from Georgia when I was there. Certainly looks different than what he did when he was a freshman. Georgie's big, physical. He can run now. I mean, he can fly. And I think what he's done is he's made us better. He's made Warren Thompson better. He's made Keatron Jackson better, and that's just because of the heat that his presence puts on them. And so I think on the outside we're going to be in pretty good shape. I really do. But I think he's going to help us, and I think he'll help us a lot.
Hey, Coach, with Isaiah Satania, not going through spring practice with you, what have you seen from him since he showed up?
Well, he's really smart, so he learns fast. That's the one thing that NCAA has allowed us to do is have meetings. And so that's helped us. In the past wasn't as much meeting time, and so now we're able to meet. So he's picking it up fast. He picks up the offense fast. The number one thing that keeps young kids off the field is they don't know the offense, they don't know the defense, so therefore they're thinking and you're not seeing their full athletic ability. Again, he has great ball skills and he can separate on a route, and I think those are things you saw in high school, and he's fast, those things you saw in high school, but I knew he was a smart guy. I knew he was a smart kid, but he really picked up the offense fast.
Is he one of those that you're I mean, you're probably looking forward to seeing everybody, but because you didn't get to see him on the field in the spring, is there an extra level of
Yeah,
anticipation?
there's a list of guys, you know, that you're going, that they weren't here in the spring, and you're going, can they help us? Kudus, on the O-line would be one of those guys. He's really talented. But yes, those are a few guys that you're going, you gotta find out within the first couple of weeks whether they're gonna be a part of helping us on a Saturday as far as on the field is concerned.
And then over these first few practices, when they don't have pads on, what exactly are you looking for? What are you able to learn when they don't have pads on?
I just want the way we practice. I want the expectations of practice. I want us to be sharp as a coaching staff. I want to be sharp at players. I don't want to have a lot of missed assignments. I want to bring in who we are and practice how we are and practice fast and physical and transition well and take care of the football, and of course defense, try to get the football out and things of that nature. But I just want to be organized. We've been bragging all the time. We got all these coordinators back, and I want to see that. We want to. If we're going to beat people, we got to be ahead of them in practice as well.
I had a question about your speed and your strength, because you talk about how that's what you gotta improve on. Did you see some numbers through the summer that you say, okay, we might be faster and we might be bigger and stronger?
Yeah, we are bigger. I mean, we're a big football team now. We look like an SEC football team, in my opinion, now. Speed-wise, I think there's two parts of that. One is you recruit speed, and the other is you develop speed. So I think we've done a really good job, Coach Walker and his staff, of developing our guys, obviously to get bigger and stronger, but also we spend a lot of time on speed development training as well. So I think we're a bigger and a faster team. And then I think recruiting and the guys we brought in, we're starting to recruit bigger and stronger and faster guys when they walk in the door. And then you can develop them even further at that point. So yeah, I like the way our team looks, and I like our team speed.
And did you have any off-season standout summer stars that, really
Yeah,
jumped?
Bo Limmer, I mean, he's a freakish type guy, he's strong in the squat and the bench and all these things. He's kind of a freak of nature type guy. He stood out. That's the one that I would say right now that I can recall that I thought really was unbelievable. There's a lot of them, but he's one that I want to talk about.
Sam, this probably writes pretty long the list of questions, but your kickoff guy, Calvaruso went to Wisconsin, and I know Cam handled that in the bowl game, but I know you brought in some kickers also. Who right now are you looking at as far as the kickoff position?
Well, Bates is a guy that can kick.
Right.
And, obviously he had full write-off or two, I don't know how many, but I know at least one other SEC football team. So it'll be between him and Bates, Cam, Little, and Bates. I think they're both kicking it, 6, 7 deep right now on average. But Vito was valuable now. I mean, that's a valuable deal when, Scott and I sitting there and we're ahead, and I don't know, I think it was Mississippi State game even, and I go, we'd sit there talking about what we want to do, and Scott said, well, let's just kick it out. And I said, well, you damn sure better kick it out. I mean, if we're going to do that, we'll get booed out of the stadium in here, and he booted that thing out of there, but a lot of value there when you don't necessarily have to defend a kickoff return from somebody else's team. So we feel like we have them. Obviously, I think Scott would like for Bates to be that guy, so Cam could just kind of really concentrate on field goals. But whomever wins this spot is going to be the one that kicks the furthest and the highest and the most consistency.
Sure. Is Reed still ahead in the punting, Reed Bauer?
Yeah, as we go today, Max is right there close to him, but Reed would be the starter if we went out and played Cincinnati today.
And then Stein, is he or Castro? Who's the long snapper?
Stein's probably leading that race right now.
I was wondering if you had any surprises for us, maybe stuff we wouldn't, like last year you moved a bunch of guys to tight end to try them out there.
We don't need him,
anything
we got
on
more
plan?
tight ends than anything. We don't need him, we got plenty.
Anything along those
We
lines?
need them in recruiting. But, any moves that we're making that you might not know about? I don't think so. I don't think we've really, I don't think so. You know, y'all asked me about Malik, and I don't think so. I think right now we're pretty open, honest book right now. You're gonna be at practice, so you'll figure it out anyhow.
Yeah. Everybody wants to have a beer with you, and people talking about adopting Arkansas as their other team and all that stuff. I was wondering, do you feel like that maybe the people don't view you as threatening, and how do you change that? How do you get more people to dislike you?
Well,
You keep winning.
I think, you know, I'm not, it's not me versus Jimbo or me versus Nick Saban. It's our team versus their team. And that's how I always kind of looked at it. I like the guys. I like the head coaches in the SEC. But I want to mind my own business. You know, I ain't worried about somebody else's business. I'm just worried about mine and our team and what we do. And I think you can cause some friction and some problems whenever you worry about somebody else's team. If I want to worry about their team, I'd go interview for the job, you know. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But I think, you know, I rant, but I don't know. I just answer your questions, and I am who I am. So some people like it, some people don't, but I don't know how to answer the question really.
It was a difficult one. Cam Ball's a guy that you guys talked about a lot last year. You were able to redshirt him, but with Carter having the injury, how big is it for him to have had a good offseason, and
Big.
where do you see him right now?
Well, he's got to step up. I mean, right now he'll be one on the depth chart, and he's got to step up and be that guy. You know, obviously we went out and got Paris and I mean it's Taylor Lewis and Terry Hampton, and so Marcus Miller's got to come on. It's his year. His knee's healthy now, but Cam's got to step up. He worked his butt off down there on the scout team last year and got knocked around a few. But it's his year. He's got the physical tools. He's got the size. He's got the strength. I think he'll be a fine player for us, but he needs to. We need him to.
Just to clarify, when you guys come out in 3-2-6, he'll be with the first group or the 4.
He'll be starting for us in our 4 now. He wouldn't be that starter right now in the 3 down look.
And Sam, you mentioned being a faster team earlier. Who are some of the guys that y'all are eyeing maybe as return men, either punt or kickoff?
Well, that was a nice topic of conversation between us all too, but I think Bryce Stevens is a guy that we believe in that could be a nice punt returner. Jaden Hazelwood's done a nice job back there as well as Slusher. Kickoff return, I like Day. I like Ladarius Bishop back there. Slusher's another guy that I think would be good. They threw Rocket's name out, and I threw it out. They threw it out to me, and I threw it out. So he ain't doing that. AJ Green's another guy that I think now with a year under his belt that we just got to have a guy hit it. And so those are a few names that I think will be in that battle. Satagna is obviously one of those guys in punt and kickoff return that we're certainly going to look at as well.
Coach Nate wanted to ask a question, Nate Allen. He wanted to ask how much did it benefit KJ to sit behind Felipe and learn from him in 21 and then Malik last year? How much benefit is it for those guys?
I think Malik's night and day better for quarterback than what he was last year. I do, and I think it benefited him big time. And I think that says a lot about Malik. It also says a lot about KJ. You know, when Malik went in the transfer portal over the bowl, whatever, KJ was the biggest one trying to get him back. And then you go back to Felipe and KJ's relationship, and it was unbelievable. And they're close now. But he helped. I mean, Felipe helped KJ, but it takes 2 people, to understand where you're at on a depth chart and understand that there's still competition, but understand what it's like today. And today I'm 2 and you're 1, so let me learn from you. you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Did you ever see a much better example though of a backup staying ready than KJ did to come in from Felipe in that last game against Missouri? Well, I guess the next last game of the season against Missouri, but just come in and put 50 points. The most points you scored all season. He did it that day.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, he stood in the pocket. He made great decisions. I mean, that was week 9 and on the road. And for him to be poised like that and what he did certainly was incredible. He didn't win the game, but certainly didn't have anything to do with his performance. I mean, his was outstanding.